For months, Victoria's corruption watchdog has heard explosive allegations about branch stacking in the Labor Party.
I thought the party was completely out of control.
We chose repeatedly to do the wrong thing again and again and again and again.
I think everyone was doing it.
Today, its final report, released with the state's ombudsman, found the practice was widespread through the Victorian ALP.
Absolutely disgraceful behaviour that does not meet my expectations or the expectations of hard-working members of the Victorian community.
The investigation was announced in June 2020 after allegations aired on 60 Minutes that former Labor power broker and Minister Adam Somyurek directed taxpayer-funded parliamentary staffers to recruit fake members.
Maybe we do just have a big stack of them.
Mr Somyurek was sacked as minister and consequently resigned as a member of the party. He denies any wrongdoing.
I got initiated into this culture and it was all sort of intertwined.
Labor staffers and politicians detailed a culture in the party where branch stacking was widespread and accepted.
I saw things and heard things that I just didn't think that I'd ever see in a modern Labor Party.
What are you referring to, Mr Byrne?
I'm referring to branch stacking. I'm referring to coercion of staff being made to do things that they didn't want to do. I was referring to a party that basically was being taken over by one person whose sole objective was power and power alone.
Who's the person you're referring to?
Adam Somyurek.
You've lied on the timesheet and you know what he's doing. He's fixing member discrepancies in Hang's office. What about that is not corruption, Mr Somyurek?
Extreme terminology, but yeah, okay.
Witnesses to the inquiry said electoral staff paid for by the taxpayer regularly did political work.
When the branch stacking, I guess, has ramped up, the workload, it was almost like 80% of my day was going through memberships.
It's not the first time the use of electoral staff for political campaigning has come under scrutiny. The Ombudsman launched the so-called Red Shirts investigation after the 2014 election. But the Commissioner said Victoria is now a laggard rather than a leader in parliamentary integrity.
Our report illustrates a catalogue of unethical and inappropriate behaviour and concerning practices, and the environment in which such behaviour was able to flourish. They range from the hiring of unqualified people into publicly funded roles, using those roles to support factional work, nepotism, forging signatures, bullying behaviours, and attempts to interfere with government grants.
The report warned the conduct could have a deeply damaging effect on public confidence in democracy and its institutions, and that while the behaviour didn't amount to traditional corruption, it was a grey area that benefited MPs' associates.
It's very concerning. It's conduct which certainly is likely to lessen the confidence and respect that the community has for our members of Parliament.
The report criticised the conduct of former Andrews government ministers Adam Somyurek and Marlene Kairouz, but stopped short of referring them for prosecution because their behaviour did not amount to criminal conduct.
The authors of this report have chosen not to recommend the laying of particular charges because they say that there is this grey area. The dividing line between what's right and what's wrong is not clear, and the actual law is not entirely clear.
Former Judge Stephen Charles said it was still possible for those named in the report to face charges.
It remains possible for the DPP to look at the evidence and on the basis of what's in the report say, oh no, we'll ask a few more questions of people and then we will decide there's enough material to charge people with convictions. That's up to the DPP.
On the one level, I'm happy, I'm relieved, feel exonerated, but the other side, I am very angry. I am very, very angry. I might have a clean bill of health, but there is something rotten in the state of Victoria.
Well, I think we're very clear that the conduct here is egregious. I mean, there's no shadow of a doubt, and I would not describe this report as an exoneration.
While branch stacking is against Labor Party rules, it's not illegal. In a private hearing to the inquiry, the Premier Daniel Andrews said he was aware of branch stacking within the party over the past few decades, but he denied any personal knowledge of the practice.
As soon as we became aware of this unprecedented, shameful, disgraceful behaviour, we took action. I took action.
The report made 21 recommendations, including the establishment of a Parliamentary Ethics Committee and a Parliamentary Integrity Commissioner, both by 2024. It also recommended a ban on MPs employing close family in their electorate office.
The government has accepted all 21 of the recommendations made.
The Premier also pledged to change the law to stop political parties from receiving public funding unless they properly policed party memberships.
Plainly, this is a description of serious misuse of taxpayers' funds. If the community loses faith in government or in any particular politicians, what they ought to do is wait to the next election and take their attitude out at the ballot box.